Welcome to Conversations from the Barn at Everwood Farmstead. These are casual chats with visiting artists. Creaky barn, bugs, and all. Enjoy.
Geoffrey and Torey, we're so happy you're with us.
Torey, start with you. Introduce yourself, just a little bit of your background, your artistry.
Sure, thank you. I'm Torey Erin, and I'm a visual artist, a landscape architect, a filmmaker, and sort of boundaryless maker and thinker.
That's good. You should have gone
That's
second.
really good.
Boundaryless maker and thinker. That is true, though. That's very accurate about Torey. She does it all. I'm Torey's friend, Geoffrey, also known as Lamar sometimes. And these days I'm primarily a singer and songwriter and performer of those songs. But I also play saxophone sometimes and occasionally compose music for other videos and things. But these days it's all about Lamar songs for the most part. And I'm a dad of two lovely young boys.
What are their names?
Ezra and Ronan.
Ronan?
Ronan, yeah.
R-O-N-A-N?
I-N.
I-N.
Yeah. But being a dad shows up a lot in my work these days too, indirectly, so that's why I mentioned it.
Are you feeling fatherly energy in a lot of different things?
I just feel like becoming a parent, for me, becoming a dad, like really opened up like another chamber of emotion and tenderness and capacity to like care for things and really like, yeah, be present in a way that I hadn't had to have before. So yeah, having two little humans out in the world that you're kind of always like thinking of and worrying about and caring for and showering with love. Like, yeah.
Did you anticipate it?
You know,
Did you long for it? Or was it?
I don't know. I always wanted to be a parent, but I guess I hadn't thought about what that would feel like. You think I thought a lot about like the practical like nature of becoming a parent, like where will they sleep and like how will we feed them and what will we do and what will the schedule be like and
How do we keep
we'll
them
bring
alive?
them around, we keep them alive, yeah. And less about the like, you know, now it was just notable after Ezra was born, or even a little bit before. But now anything that's remotely like sad or tender or kind of sweet, like I can just like tear up over anything, which I couldn't before. Yeah, just like so much more emotionally available than I felt like it was before. Which has helped in the music, being open to the songs in a way that's needing to maybe obstruct less and just be more honest, or putting myself like more obviously in the songs than I think I did in the past. So.
Can you share a bit about your collaboration? I'm fascinated by these dimensions coming together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's boundaryless.
Yeah.
It's very natural and fluid, I think, for both of us to collaborate with each other, which we've done a handful of times with film, music, design,
Yeah.
you know, making meals. Geoffrey and his wife Hannah are very close friends of mine, and I also work with her on this demo series in Minneapolis.
Yeah, we were talking the other day about
Co-produce.
sort of the uniqueness of having a shared, like you and Hannah have a friendship. We have like a shared friendship, and you and I have a friendship and collaboration, and like that's sort of a rare thing in my mind to like have this sort of multi-directional working together that is devoid of any drama, really, you know?
Yes.
Oh,
and
it's
a
very cool.
total obsession with their children on my
Yeah.
end. And I think it's
They're
reciprocal.
obsessed with you, yeah.
But yeah, we've done, I guess we've worked in a few different ways where I've sent films to Geoffrey to score, or Geoffrey's sent me music, and I've designed some packaging for his record and done visual stuff. But then also have used some of his instrumental songs in my films. So this week, I guess we were both sort of working on writing, and I'm kind of finishing a zine that I've been working on with a ton of maps on a different land artwork project that I've been making for 2 years now. It's still in progress, and I had the opportunity to bring my Super 8 film camera out here and really work on that, and I think that's where we sort of intersect best is film and music, among other things. But
Practically speaking, that meant that Torey made me walk through the field back and forth for like 2 hours in the blazing sun. I mean, it was kind of what I signed up for in the first place. I was like, let's shoot some beautiful film, and then we'll see as if and when like music comes together to be paired with that. But I think we both knew we wanted to like capture the visual experience out here.
yeah,
And I'm thinking about music videos or other videos, and but that was really fun. Though I got very sweaty.
Is it possible that Sonia will be featured in a LAAMAR video in the near future?
we were hoping.
We were really hoping the goats would make a cameo. They did follow us out there, but like they hung back in the brush on the other side of the path.
So they didn't get zapped by their colors.
Yeah, but we took lots of pictures of them.
Good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of went into it sort of like knowing that we're going to work in our practices and like that they're going to find a way to intersect. And we got to sit and watch through video today, which was beautiful. The footage, like we shot the Super 8, you shot the Super 8, and then also like just a classic like 2000s camcorder that I brought from my dad, which also looks amazing. Like has a certain quality to it, way better than the iPhone footage.
From an old camcorder.
Yeah, just a camcorder with a SD card, so not super old, but you know.
Okay.
Yeah, digital camcorder.
Yeah.
But the field just looks. The bee balm was wild, and
It's beautiful, right?
the bees are
And it
coming
smells
in and
incredible.
out. It smells so good. Yeah, that was the nicest part for me. The bees are coming in out of the frame, and the beautiful moth and butterflies, and so I know we'll find a home for that eventually. But
Yeah. It's a slow look, which
Yeah.
I feel like that's sort of where my films land, is like encouraging like just sitting with something. And I think with this film, it's very short in the
Yeah.
context of a film, but it's like
5 minutes of
almost
just a still
dreamy
shot. Yeah.
still shot. You have some butterflies coming in and out, bees coming in and out, and then, you know, some of the bee balm waving, and Geoffrey's just, you can barely see him in the beginning, and then he's kind of weaving his way through the field. And it's beautiful. It's very dreamy.
Yeah.
Cue the butterfly.
Cue the butterflies. Yeah, we were trying to get him
Yeah.
to really get in there. Yeah, we were talking about like other films we liked, and I was reminded of that the film by Akira Kurosawa called Dreams, which had a lot of like similar like static shots of nature for a long time. Torey had lots of references, but yeah, we also just get collaborate in life. You know, I think like adult friendship, particularly as you become parents, like the people that find their way or remain in your orbit. Like Torey can occupy multiple spaces. Like our kids really care for her. We both care for her individually as friends. We like appreciate her as a shared person in our life, and like our, you know, sort of as we navigate like making art and making life and having jobs and the principles upon which we kind of want to live. Like having another partner in that too. I feel like that's been as important in sort of like being an artist and being a human. Yeah, it's fun to come out
Easy
here.
breezy.
Easy breezy.
What
Yeah.
a gift. What a gift.
It's sacred.
Yeah. I'm curious, in this collaboration and these kind of dreamy projects, what did the elements of time, focus, and nature add to what happened this week?
Well, for me, I mean, time is really the biggest and like most invaluable or valuable resource of all, to sort of wake up and be like, the day is mine, and the space, being the barn primarily, is also mine. And that's like such a luxury to, you know, as we talked about earlier, to like give myself without carrying too much guilt, just to be like, all right, I've given myself this time, my partner has given me this time, and several times during the week, like also checked in and said, enjoy yourself, make the most of it, like reminding me to not feel that like natural guilt that you mentioned, like, oh, I'm like leaving, you know, this other stuff behind. So I think just as much as similarly for Torey, like love making music and making art like in spaces that really resonate with that process and are like supportive of that process. So I mean, in functional ways, like having a lot of space, given how much equipment I brought, obviously, is very helpful. But you know, singing, at least for me, like singing songs and writing songs is like a very emotional experience. So having a container to support you in doing that is really nice. And I think Em and I touched on this briefly the other day, like committing to being in the space, committing to singing at the top of your lungs, like whether, granted there aren't too many neighbors, but there's a couple people around. Tori's here judging me.
There are goats judging.
The goats are judging me. Yeah, Julian's like, this guy sucks. But community, like I'm going to make art in this space and like just really sort of be present has been super helpful. And finding this loop, like to the house, to the barn, onto the pathway, take a little bike ride, go to Menominee, create this little mini orbit for the week, has felt really like the good amount of process for me to have some structure, but have so much liberty to just kind of, for me, like I'm someone that inspiration kind of like just, comes and like, I need to get up and go play guitar right now. And there's nothing hindering that here, which has been really cool. I need to like stay up until midnight and work on songs and don't need to worry about being really tired in the morning. That I don't have very often. So,
I don't know if you said this when we were recording or if it was before, but we both were sort of kicking ourselves that we didn't apply for the 2-week. Because it's in a similar way, the time and the spaciousness that I think it's brought to. And because a lot of my work is place-based, and I like to integrate myself into the landscape and really like take in the sounds and like what's here and what am I smelling and what's how do I get myself to a place where I feel like I'm following some sort of rhythm that's in the landscape in a way, and I feel like I got to that rhythm maybe yesterday.
You were talking about the light and like light at this time and light at that time.
It's a curious idea about perception of taking 2 weeks versus being at the end of week 1 and longing for another. What's the gap?
I mean, 1 week feels indulgent and 2 weeks feels like impossible until you're here, and I'm like, I could do 2 weeks here, no problem. Could my regular life sustain that?
We both work for the university also, and not together, but completely different, departments, centers. And I feel like when I'm home, I'm like 9 to 5, and then I'm doing this demo workshop series with Hannah, and then I also have this other residency that I'm still doing at Franconia, and trying to fit a social life into that. And I feel like not opening my email all week, and Hannah and I aren't working together, and I'm kind of away from my wonderful friends, but having that time to myself and being able to like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write for 8 hours, and like every break is a beautiful walk, or coming over here to the barn and listening to Geoffrey play, or finding the pigeon in the pipe on the silo, and like, just like a lot of play and room for curiosity. We had a jam night in here that was really fun. I feel like I don't give myself a ton of playtime, which is I think another valuable thing that I've kind of cultivated here, where I'm like, I need to like really give that to myself when I'm in Minneapolis.
That has been a huge theme, I feel like, this summer for artists.
More play,
more fun.
I was going to say I would also suggest indulgence. I think that came up from the very first week, and I feel like allowing a self to have a time and to be expressive in that time has been massive.
Yeah. Why is that so hard for us? It doesn't look productive, does it?
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking this week too, like, how do we live more like this? We must have a job somehow. We were like, Bill's got it made. He's got this job in the city, a few days. I mean, you got work, but you come out here, and I don't know how that is for you. Whether 3 days is enough, like at a time, or 3 or 4 days to let go of the treadmill that we're on.
It's fascinating. I was telling you about our conversation with Sarah and Amanda, and both of them had amazing observations in their week that I was like, I don't know if I could ever say that. Like Sarah was talking, she walked by the garden in the morning and one rose had bloomed. And later on that evening, there were 6. And she knew that there was 1 and it went to 6 by the end of the day. And I was like, I don't know if in 14 years of living here, I could ever say that. And it was such a reminder to just like, and Amanda said, oh, there's a spot. I had coffee every morning and there's a spot on the floor where the sun would come in beautifully at the exact same time every morning. And I was like, oh, God, like amazing that in a week you could incorporate those keen observations. Artists teach me so much about how to be in this space every week. And it's a gift.
Yeah. Yeah, people, it's got to be interesting, people coming into your space and seeing it with totally different eyes and like...
We get to see our space with new eyes.
Yeah.
It's such a
Amanda's
gift.
a painter, and what I loved about that podcast, she is so keenly aware of light.
Yeah.
She was following the light. She was painting the light. She was drawn by the light.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a gift.
What a gift.
You have a performance tomorrow.
Yeah.
What is it like to... You've been looking at 150 open chairs all week. Have you ever had an experience like that before where you've spent so much time in a space?
Ahead of the performance?
Ahead
No,
of the
thankfully
performance.
not. I mean, other than this scenario, it probably wouldn't be very a good sign if I had to spend 5 days ahead. For sure. It's great. I mean, I'm curious tomorrow what it will feel like on my nervous system to have already been in this space for so long. I mean, there will be people here, strangers, so like that will be different, but I will be very comfortable, just sort of with my setup. So I'm really looking forward to, I've been singing in here all week, and now the band will come and we'll all sing, sing together, and I'll sing a little bit by myself too, and but to do it for people is a different experience. So I'm looking forward to it. I think writing songs in solitude is a very specific practice that I enjoy doing, but performing songs is like an entirely different thing in some way, for me at least, where you're both like, I think about embodying the song that I'm performing, and you're doing a performance, and I guess that's obvious, but like, I never thought about songwriting and then being a singer is like 2 different jobs, but they're really 2 very different jobs. Like now the job is to deliver the music, embody what I'm trying to say in the song, and also like be present with people in some authentic way that hopefully resonates with them. And really the last couple of years, and maybe being a dad too, like I've gotten a lot more comfortable just sort of with that dynamic and relationship of the audience. And I actually kind of enjoy like very intimate type of settings like this, where the people are only a few feet away from your knees or whatever. Because it can be very powerful if I'm able to be in the moment and do that, which I enjoy. It can be difficult, but really resonate if people are just locked in with you.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
I will offer a couple of things. One, we have worked very hard to create a listening room. Everyone will be very present and with you. And while it does feel like a lot of strangers, also we've worked very hard to create community.
Yeah.
And so they feel like Everwood family.
Yeah.
This group is very connected to each other, and they are very for the artists.
Yeah. And I experienced that when I got to do the season kickoff.
I bet you did. Yeah.
People were very...
And so I'm curious how that shifts the dynamic. And you now own the room.
Yeah.
This is your studio.
Yeah.
And you've filled it with both of your spirit, your energy, and kind of laid some groundwork, and you get some visitors into your studio. And so there's kind of layers of intimacy on intimacy that feels like maybe a different kind of invitation than a traditional performance. I don't know.
Definitely. I think when people show up in these spaces, like to be in community, it is very different than like buying a ticket to a show at a venue, like at a club. where you're kind of there, but you're also kind of want to chit chat with your friends,
Yeah.
or you're just there for the music, but it's just a different agreement.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I really enjoy those opportunities. They're very like intense and require a lot of, I think, at least for me, like physical and emotional fortitude to like do. And so after I'm usually like kind of like worn out, but it's also like very fulfilling at the same time to be able to do that, to have however many people sort of captive and there for you. Is also a privilege.
How about that? To have 150 people in a room
Yeah.
that are for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
That's
intense.
pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is. I love that.
Will you be capturing any images?
I will be here, absolutely, and always have a camera. So
Yeah.
I will, absolutely. Yeah.
Fun.
Can't wait. Geoffrey might play a new song.
I know. That was my
Wait,
next
what?
question. That was my next question.
Yeah.
Not to spill the
No,
beans.
no.
But
Yeah, I'm gonna play one new song for sure.
Amazing.
I wrote a couple songs here from nothing, a few songs, and then I have a handful of songs that I've brought work in like various states of finishedness, and I tried to sort them. And some are like ideas, some are songs that are like half written, and I've needed the time to like sit down and finish them, which is kind of the thing I was most excited about. Like all these songs that I think are good and would be great if I had the luxury of giving them space.
Time and space.
And yeah, it's kind of like magic to me, the process of songwriting, because I just sit down and have the space and time, and then let it flow, and the music is there, and it will come from the space and from the instrument, and it's just like time is the thing that I need. I keep coming back to that, but like that's what I'm really excited about being here and craving. It's just like time to let things unfurl. So I finished a lot of stuff, made a lot of progress. I'm really excited.
That's exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a final question that we ask everyone.
I'm just
for
going to
our
ask
podcast.
it tonight.
And I was going to say, I think Em should ask the question.
May I build on it a little bit, actually?
I would love it.
The question is, how have you experienced beauty today? But tenderness has come up a lot, and so I'm curious if tenderness has also come up in your week at all.
that's a really good question.
Yes. I mean, it's hard to answer because there are lots of examples, but for me, I mean, probably the most beautiful part of my day was walking back and forth through the bee balm in all sorts of directions, and like being like, oh yeah, the bees aren't stinging me. Like I'm just making my way calmly through, and the bees are doing their thing, and the butterflies are doing their thing, and we're like existing in harmony. And that was really, even though I was sweaty and complaining about being sweaty, it was really. It smells so
If
good.
you were a flower, it'd be a different thing.
Yeah. And tenderness, I think in a way, like being on camera, even with like a close friend, is like something that I'm not super comfortable with. So it was like an intentional act of like trust for me, and like though I trust Torey deeply, like also trusting myself to be like, just be out there, and be kind to myself to be like, just be in the space and enjoy walking around, and don't worry about what it looks like.
Just be balm.
Just be balm. Yeah.
Just be balm.
So yeah, I think being tender in that way, and also just the whole week, I think like coming in and not putting any expectations or pressure to like do a lot, though I had ambitions to do a lot. Just be like, if you don't feel like writing right now, or if you don't feel like doing that right now, that's fine. Or I thought I might record a lot of nature sounds. I didn't really do too much of that. I'm like, it's okay. Just follow the flow. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I aligned with filming too, and we initially went out there with his dad's camcorder, and I had my Super 8 too, which I could see better in the viewfinder because it's dark, but with the camcorder it's a flip screen, and there's no viewfinder. And it was so bright, and I was like, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but we're just going to roll it and see what happens, which I feel like is how we've approached everything this week.
But you've never directed me on camera. We just kind of did that.
Yeah,
without
that
any-
was easy. That was so easy.
Yeah.
It was natural. And I think, we've mentioned this to Em a little bit, that we're both kind of like type B people, a little bit more flexible. And it's, having another friend here yesterday, our friend Nat, who's more opinionated and like direct. We were like, oh, this energy is new.
Yeah. The dynamic shifted.
It shifted. But yeah, I would say that every day has felt really beautiful here. Like going to the goats and recognizing like which ones like to be pet and where they like to be pet, and going up to the top of the hill through the wooded forest, and like the painter that was here, Amanda, noticing where the light's coming in and how it's changing, and even just like being silly, or like Geoffrey's like singing all of the time, and like that, even having that in the house, which I'm not super used to. Watching the lightning bugs at night. That was fun, going out last night. Em came with me to look at the orange moon.
It was crazy last night.
It was beautiful. I mean, even the smoke. It's like, sort of tragic, but the smoke and the video, after we went back inside and watched like what the camcorder was actually doing, and then I eventually got a napkin that I could kind of put over my head and watch the viewfinder from out there. Like it was so hazy and sort of in that kind of poor quality, but in a really good poor quality type of way.
Better than the Instagram filters, Torey said.
Yeah, of course. Smelling the bergamot leaves, putting the leaves in my mouth, which like are kind of a natural breath freshener. There's so much beauty here. And I think with that, like noticing, that brings tenderness and just like being here, and also tenderness to myself too. I'm like a terrible, terrible sleeper, and giving myself space to take naps and sleep in. That has felt really like a tender thing for myself. So,
The other thing that was cool for me, the process and routine, but like opening the barn doors in the morning, and then opening this window at some point, opening that window, and sort of like moving the chairs, and like the sound of the space resonating, felt very meditative and also ritualistic. Like come in and do that and move around and think about what I want to do, and then at the end of the day kind of do the process in reverse and close the doors, work a little bit more, and shut things up for the night, and go back to the house. And very grounding. And just my nervous system has been very calm.
Thank you for the beauty you brought to the farm this week. The friendship you offered to the goats.
And to us.
And to us. And the music in the air during the week.
It's a special place. So nice. I would encourage, for the record, anyone seeking some time to give themselves the time and take it here if they can.
Thank you for having us and for creating this place.
Magical. Who was texting us about being magical? Someone.
It is the number one
Blanco.
word.
Blanco,
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please stay in touch, would you?
Oh, we're going to apply again at the requisite. Whenever the
2 week month.
Good, we're in.
Thanks for listening to Conversations from the Barn at Everwood Farmstead. Our theme music is provided by John Mark Nelson. Wishing you all good health.